ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वतीदेवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Welcome to the episode 19 of the Strengthening Foundation series, and today's topic is the Gaurarti song. So I'm guessing today's episode will be quite short, unless we want to go into understanding each of the personalities mentioned in the song. So we will see how it goes. So I think you all are familiar. Many of you are familiar with the song. Maybe some of you are not. So for all Hare Krishna devotees worldwide, we sing this Gaurarti song in the evening. So much so that the evening Arati is called Gaurarti. But actually it's not Gaurarti, it's Sandhya Arati. Sandhya means the join between day and night. So at dusk, at sunset, around that time, this arati will happen. So actually it's a Sandhya arati. So but we chant the Gaurarti song. So Gaurarti means arati performance to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this Gaurarti is envisioned by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So he saw this in his devotional meditation, and what he saw, he wrote down in the form of a song. So when pure devotees see these visions, they are not like us, like imaginations or some poetic concoctions or some dreams. We cannot imitate these things. Tomorrow or today I cannot say that, Prabhu, I also had a dream, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did this. These are very sahajiya kind of talks, that, as if I have the same level of devotion as Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So we can't imitate these things. One second, I'll just mute this. So we cannot imitate such feelings, such songs. So if you see the depiction of this song is actually depicting a scene which is not to be found anywhere in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is the biography of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and also in the Chaitanya Bhagavat, which is another biography of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Bhagavat was authored by Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, and Chaitanya Charitamrita was authored by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. And also there is, what is that? Chaitanya Mangal actually came to be known as Chaitanya Bhagavat. There is another biography of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as well. Forgot. So also there are other writings by Prabodhananda Saraswati, for example, which is Chaitanya Chandrodaya Natak. So this is a drama that he wrote. The wordings and everything, the drama. So in this, in these writings, there are depictions that are nowhere else mentioned. But because they are liberated souls, these are all factual existence. In fact, if you see Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami makes a point. He says, it is impossible to narrate even one day's pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Even if one has a mouth, 1,000 mouths, like Anantasesh, with its unlimited hoods, Even if with all those mouths he tries to narrate the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu of one single day of his life. He lived for 48 days here. So even if somebody wants to try to explain one day's pastimes in full detail and depth, one cannot do enough justice at all, far from doing any justice. So even Chaitanya Charitamrita, when he wrote, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami said, it is impossible for me to explain this whole ocean. I am only explaining one tiny drop of that ocean, and that is this Chaitanya Charitamrita. Chaitanya Charitamrita, mind you, it is 11,555 verses long. And he said it is just a drop in the ocean of the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So how many more are there, and how much depth and how much confidentiality is there, we don't even understand. Same goes with all the other scriptures as well. Like for example, Ramayana in human society, it exists as a work of 25,000 shlokas. But the same Ramayana is known in the Brahmaloka, the topmost planet in the universe, as a work of 1 billion verses. 1 billion, not even a million, billion. So, how much information is not available to humans? They are not available to humans because we can't even comprehend them. It's beyond our even mental ability. So, whatever is kind of possible for us humans to even grasp or accept, those are mentioned in even if you read Chaitanya Charitamrita, you will not understand. We can't actually comprehend the Antya-lila pastimes of the Lord. As much as is described, we cannot comprehend fully anyway all the pastimes of the Lord. No one can ever do that. But whatever is described, even that cannot be understood, especially his Antya-lila pastimes, his madness in Krishna consciousness, his transcendental madness, absolute madness in Krishna consciousness, is impossible to comprehend. So we are looking at all this Strengthening Foundation series in a mood not to understand entirely the Lord or his songs or any of these things. We can actually never comprehend any of these things in full depth, because as much as we go deeper, there is even more depth. So what we are trying to do here is just to get an idea, to get a glimpse of what it is, and try to basically serve, get into the mood of service. It's not about I want to get more and more knowledge about the Lord. It is good. I mean, if you want knowledge, there are enough books by Srila Prabhupada that one cannot finish in a lifetime. For myself, I am telling you, I so-called read all the books of Srila Prabhupada at least once, some of them a few times. But now when I am looking at all these books, I know that I'm seeing that how little do I actually know. I mean, I don't know anything. When I'm looking at these books, it's like completely new, So these books can never be finished at any time. We can never finish reading them. There's no such thing. So each time you read, you will go into deeper and deeper and deeper depths. So this Strengthening Foundation series is basically to encourage you to take it more deeply, but then don't just rely on these sessions. So this is just to get you started on taking your own initiative in your own life to study Srila Prabhupada's books deeply, and whatever we are doing, do it deeply and understand its significance, and involve, not only understand deeply, but also involve deeply in the service, in the, like devotees ask us to do service, and then we do some service, okay fine, just like ordinary volunteer work that one does for any other society or some kind of charitable institution. Instead of that, let us actually understand and with full understanding engage in Krishna service. So that is the whole point of this Strengthening Foundation series, so that this is just a start, it's just a boost, because people have a starting problem. Once they're a little encouraged, so we expect you to take this forward in your own lives and also help others by sharing the knowledge with others. So that is the whole purpose of this thing, this series here. Because honestly, I'm not knowledgeable in anything. In fact, that's what I'm saying. When I'm seeing all these books now, I mean, we know kind of the general philosophy, the general practice and all, but to understand in depth and how much am I involving, and it comes down to service now. It comes down to service. How much am I actually involving in service? There is sambandha, abhidheya, prayojana. If you see Prabhupada's disciples in the early days, they hardly knew anything about Krishna. They had full faith in Srila Prabhupada. Whatever little bit they knew about Krishna, they just preached, they just distributed books, and they distributed in the millions. So that mode of service is what we need to inculcate, and we just need to be convinced enough to engage in service. That doesn't mean that, okay, I understand that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead, okay, I'll start serving and then I'll stop reading again. No, it doesn't mean that. So we have to get started in service and then complement our service with reading and reading with service and service with reading and reading with service and all this with chanting. Everything has to go hand in hand. If we give up reading, then our service will become dry. That means it will become like a materialistic activity, and then we will lose taste, we will lose the connection. Why we are doing this, like what are we doing here? So we should not lose the connect at any time. So if I have not started into this path, then we have to understand to an extent that, okay, now is the time I have to do it. I have to start. And once we have started, and then now let me deepen. Because don't expect me in this Strengthening Foundation series to do an entire depth class on Chaitanya Charitamrita, I mean, we can understand, we can maybe do some sessions on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Prabhu, Gadadhar Srivas. Honestly, I myself don't know every detail of their lives. I don't know. I have read the Chaitanya Charitamrita, yes. But to know in great detail, I am not an expert, honestly. So, and also the depth of their pastimes and all kinds of pastimes. I myself have not done that kind of reading. So, I encourage you to take up the reading of Srila Prabhupada's books. In fact, I also want to read again and again and more closely. So, this is what I want you also to take seriously. So, this is the whole idea of this Strengthening Foundation. So, it's just to give a starting boost. But then the whole journey is yours. You have to take responsibility of. Now, we can do sessions on the 6 Goswamis, for example. Maybe we will do one day, but definitely not at this point. With Strengthening Foundation series, I wanted to cover the daily things that we do as a devotee's lifestyle. So I am expecting that this will last another 2 or 3 more sessions to cover the basics and kind of the general idea of the whole devotee's understanding and lifestyle. But then I want to switch and change this format, and we will try to go through Nectar of Instruction, which is also a very important thing. 11 verses are there, so we can probably study 1 verse a day. And then we will go to some principal parts of Nectar of Devotion that are necessary for devotee's lifestyle. So I want to cover these things, and then we will also start learning how to chant slokas. So these are some of the things that will make our understanding more, deepen our understanding. So I want to switch things up a bit after this, a few more sessions of this Strengthening Foundation series, and then we will go into Upadeshamrita series, which is Nectar of Instruction series, and probably we will study the stutis of Kunti Devi. So in that way we will, and also of course we will come back to the Bhagavad Gita sessions we used to have every week. and all that in place, and then some days we will learn about chanting shlokas. So in this way I have these kind of plans coming up. So with that, we will start into the understanding the Gaur Arati song itself. So this song was written by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So it was envisioned by him. This is what his meditation was, and what he saw, he wrote as a song. Again, reiterating the point, we should not imitate this in this level, at this level. One has to be an Uttama Adhikari to write anything like this in Krishna consciousness. So, just like he envisioned in 1875, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur envisioned that soon there will be a personality who will appear in this world, who will travel without restriction and spread the Harinam all over the world. Now, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur envisioned that, and Prabhupada actually did it. So it actually came to fruition about 100 years later. Although Prabhupada came into this world in the 1896, and it was just 21 years after Bhaktivinoda Thakur actually said that. But then the whole preaching started, the worldwide preaching started at 1965, which is 90 years after 1875. So he saw future things as well. So this is the vision of a pure devotee. So his vision is not like us. Our imaginations and all these things, even if it may be about Krishna, we should keep it to ourselves, and we should not even imagine like that. We should just follow. These things will come at a higher stage, at a higher level. So we should always keep this in mind. And this is the Gaur Arati, that the Arati of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that Bhaktivinoda Thakur envisioned. So, Jaya Jaya Gora Chander Arati ko Shobha Janvi Tatavane Jagamana Lobha. So here, Jaya Jaya means all glories to, all glories to. Gora Chander Artiko. Artiko. This is Bengali pronunciation, Artiko. But actually it's in Sanskrit it's Artrika. Artiko. So Artiko. So A becomes O in Bengali. O. So A remains A, but A remains becomes O. So this is Bengali. So Jai Jai Gora Chander Artiko Shobha. So Shobha means beautiful. Vishesha Shobham Kandarpa Koti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobham, the beauty, loveliness. Aratika, the Arati ceremony. Gaura Chander means Gora Chander. Chand means what? Moon. Chand means moon. So he is compared to the moon, because moon is very soothing and cooling. Although sun is bright, it is hot. But moon is bright, but it is cool. You will never feel the heat of the moonshine. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is compared to the moon, in that way. Gora means the fair complexioned one. Because Krishna is usually bluish, dark blue in complexion. So this is quite strikingly opposite. Golden, molten gold. Tapta Kanchana, molten gold. So Jai Jai Gora Chander Arati ko Shobha. All glories to the beautiful Arati ceremony of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Jannavi Tatavane. Jannavi means another name of Ganga river. Ganga. Jannavi. Actually, Sita's name is also Jannavi. So the actual root word meaning of the word Jannavi, I do not know. Where actually what the word Jannavi means. Who Jannavi is, yes, here it is Ganga. What actually the word means, don't really know it. Jannavi. Anyway, so here Jannavi means Ganga. Ganga's name is also Jannavi. Tata. Tata means on the banks. Tatastha Shakti. We are called Tatastha Shakti. Tatastha. What is Tatastha? Stha means situated. Tata means at the banks or at the beach. Like we are called Tatastha Shakti means there is Antaranga Shakti, Bahiranga Shakti and Tatastha Shakti. It's like borderline. So the Antaranga, Krishna has three major multifarious energies, Parasa Shakti, Vividhaiva Shruyate, broadly categorized into three: internal energy, external energy and marginal energy. So we are that marginal energy. Marginal energy means the internal energy is completely spiritual, that is exhibited in the spiritual world. Everything is spiritual there. Spiritual means everything is living. Material means it's dead. The matter is dead. But in the spiritual world, because everything is spirit, everything is living. But we are called marginal. That means in between material and spiritual. That doesn't mean that we are something else, but we are actually spiritual. But we can be sometimes overpowered by material energy because of our minute size. Because Krishna is so infinite, the thing cannot cover him. Maya cannot cover him. She is completely under his control. Mayadhyakshena prakriti. Whereas we can be covered. Tatastha. The example is perfect because Tata, the beach, is actually land. It is a land. But it is sometimes, when high tide is there, it is overpowered by water and it is considered part of the sea. It is considered now the sea. But actually, when the influence is gone of the moon and then the high tide is gone, then it actually shows itself as land. So actually it is land, but sometimes it is covered by sea. So it is considered as a sea. So we also think ourselves as a material product. We think ourselves as a combination of chemicals or amino acids and all these things that are in our body. But we are not. We are just covered by that. Our real position is spiritual, uncovered. So when one is uncovered by material energy, he is called Nitya Siddha. He never came into contact with material energy. So anyway, because we are in that position, we are called Tatastha Shakti. Everything is a Shakti. We are also a energy of the Lord. Shakti means energy. Energy of the Lord. We are energy of the Lord. Para Prakriti. Prakriti means energy also, nature. Para Prakriti means we are the superior energy or superior nature of the Lord. So we are actually Para Prakriti, but we can sometimes be overpowered by this or sometimes be revealed without any covering. So that is why Tatastha. So Tata means beach or banks of a river. Stha means situated on the banks. So Tatastha. So here, anyway, that is a digression, but to understand the concept, so that my idea is that you will not forget the word. So in as many different ways as we can understand the word, then we will have a firm understanding of that word. So whenever you see that word, you will recognize, okay, this can mean this. So it can mean a beach, it can mean a banks of a river, Tatastha. So you can connect again to our our position as a soul. So in this way, we understand the word in different contexts to have an all-round understanding of the word. So that's why I have gone into this explanation. So this is how we have to study Shastra. So because if you see the word-to-word meaning, this is how when we read, when we try to memorize shlokas and all, we have to look at the word-to-word meaning and try to understand. If that's the first time you're ever seeing that word, then you have to just remember it. Then you have to try to understand. Okay, that means that word. Okay, so then you try to see in the context of the shloka. Okay, this is how it is used. So then when next time you see this word, then you will remember, hey, this word I heard somewhere. Oh, in that shloka. Oh, that in that shloka, what is that meaning? Oh, it was that. Here, okay, it's the same meaning. Sometimes the same word is used in different meanings. So, but it can be just the variation of the same word, but it can be used in this way also. So in this way, you can get an idea of Sanskrit also, and you can better appreciate the shlokas. So Jannavi Tata Vane. So on the banks of the Ganga river, in the groves, in the gardens, or in the forest, among the trees, in the grove on the banks of the Ganga river, there is this Gauranga Arati is going on. The Arati of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is being conducted. This is Bhaktivinoda Thakur's vision. On the bank of the Ganga river, in the groves, in the garden, the Arati of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is being conducted with great pomp and show. And Jagamana Lobha, it is so beautiful that it is attracting the entire universe. These are not again just poetic outpourings. These are actually fact. Anyone who comes in contact with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement becomes immediately attracted, because the chanting, the dancing, the whole movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Kevala Ananda Kanda. Another Lochan Das Thakur has sung Kevala Ananda Kanda, Parama Koruna Pahudvijana, Nitai Gaurachanda, Sabha Avatar Shar Shiromani, Kevala Ananda Kanda. So this is the song by Lochan Das Thakur. He said, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, Parama Koruna Pahudvijana. They are the most merciful personalities ever. And Parama Koruna Pahudvijana, Nitai Gaurachandra. So Nitai and Gaurachandra, Nimai Nitai. So Nimai means Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nitai means Nityananda Prabhu. Sabha Avatar Sar Shiromani. They are the crest jewel of all incarnations of Krishna. And people know usually Dashavatar, but no, that is not all the incarnations of Godhead. They are just 10 prominent incarnations. There are many other incarnations, like waves in the ocean continuously. So of all of them, Sar Shiromani, the essence and the very crest jewel of all incarnations is Chaitanya and Nitai. Although they don't exhibit such, if you see maybe Matsya, huge fish, not just huge means like, maybe the size of this room. No, bigger than any planet, so big, and was navigating the waters of devastation, of universal devastation, and or even Parshuram or Ram and Krishna, the battles that they fought, the awe-inspiring, pastimes of such incarnations. But in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's life, you won't see all those big battles and all those or Krishna lifted the Govardhan hill. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not lift anything. See, but he's called Vishwambhar, who holds the entire universe. So, but how? Why? Actually, it is so. But just that because he is Channa Avatar, Bhakta Rupa, he is Bhakta Rupa. He came in the form of Bhakta, as a devotee. So, people can easily mistake him for an ordinary saint at the most. In fact, in Indian history, I remember reading as a small boy, in hindsight, I remember reading about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, one paragraph only, one 4-line paragraph I think, that he was a medieval saint in India. That's it. That's all I have ever heard. So, people don't even know, they don't even recognize him as Supreme Personality of Godhead. Other than Gaudiya Vaishnavas, there is hardly anyone who, Gaudiya Vaishnavas means Vaishnavas in the line of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There is hardly anyone outside who actually accepts Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as incarnation of God. Although the scriptures all very much say this in many parts of the scriptures, but they don't understand this. So, but the demigods, they don't make this mistake. They know completely who he is. And this Arati ceremony, Gora Arati, is actually, you will see later, that all the demigods, the great rishis, everybody is doing the Arati ceremony of the Lord, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, Jaga Mana Lobha, Jaga means the universe. Mana means the hearts. Lobha means stealing. It is attracting the hearts of all the people of the universe. So this Arati ceremony that is going on the banks of the Ganga river is so beautiful that it is attracting the minds of all the living entities of the universe. And if anyone comes to know of this pastime, they will be attracted. That is the meaning of the first verse. Then there is refrain. Refrain is, if you do not know in music, refrain means a line which is repeated in chorus. And so this is not exactly part of the song. You see, the refrain is not part of the song, but it is added. And Prabhupada authorized this refrain. Jaga Jana Mana Lobha, Gaurangera Aratiko Shobha, Jaga Janer Mana Lobha. So this refrain was authorized by Srila Prabhupada. Actually, there is a conversation in the kksongs.org. If you go to the link of this song, if you go down, there is a link called purport. It's not exactly a Srila Prabhupada's purport on the song. It was a conversation where his disciples were the songs of the Vaishnava Acharyas, that book was being compiled at the time. So they were selecting some songs, and Prabhupada was dictating the meanings of each of those words. And there it is mentioned that he also allowed these two refrains. There are other refrains also for this song, which are commonly sung by devotees, less common than these two. These two are most common. So one of them is here, another one will come below. So Jaga, the first verse is clear now. The refrain, Jaga Jana Mana Lobha, Jaga Jana Mana Lobha, Jaga Jana Mana Lobha, Jaga Jana Mana Lobha, Gaurangera Ratiko Shobha, Jaga Jana Mana Lobha, Gaurangera Ratiko Shobha, Jaga Jana Mana Lobha. So they are repeating this again, in that ecstasy. So the splendor of Lord Gauranga's or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Arati attracts the minds of all the living entities of the universe. It is attracting, Jaga Janer Mana Lobha, Jaga Janer Mana Lobha. It is attracting the minds of the universe, of all the people of the universe. It is attracting, like that, repeatedly. So just like, when a child is excited about something, oh, Papa, see this. It's very nice, something like that. When you're ecstatic about something, you will repeat it, so in that enthusiasm of the glorifying the Arati ceremony of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is that refrain. Then Dakhine Nitai Chand Bame Gadadhara Nikate Advaita Srini Vasa Chhatradhara Dakhine Nitai Chand. Again, Nityananda Prabhu is also referred to as Nitai Chand. Gauranga Mahaprabhu as Gaura Chand. So the moon of Gauranga Mahaprabhu, the moon of Nityananda Prabhu. And this is not like an ordinary moon. Ordinary moon, yes, it is cool, but the brightness is not so much as the sun. But in another song by Narottam Das Thakur, he sings Nitai Pada Kamala Koti Chandra Shushitala Ye Chaya Jagata Judai. So Nitai Pada Kamala Koti Chandra Shushitala, 10 million moons, if they were shining at once in the sky, that brightness and that cooling effect is to be found at the shade of the lotus feet of Nityananda Prabhu. So that kind of moon, not just like ordinary moon, Nitai Chand and Gaura Chand. So Dakhine Nitai Chand. Dakhine means on the right hand side of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is sitting. You will actually, next verse you can see, Bosiache Gaura Chand Ratna Simhasane. So Bosiache means who is sitting down. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is sitting down. And on the right is Nitai Chand. That means Nityananda Prabhu. And Bame Gadadhar. Bame means in Sanskrit or Hindi we say Vame. Vama. Vama means left. So Vama Bahotu, Sridharam Vama Bahotu, that shloka where it is said that the Sridhar, Om Sridharaya Namaha, we have to put here. Sridharam Vama Bahotu. So Vamanam Vama Parshvake, Vama. So Vama means left. Again, the different contexts of the word Vama, so you'll remember it. So Bame, in Bengali, Va becomes Ba. So Bame, Gadadhar. Bame means on the left side there was Gadadhar. Gadadhar Pandit, who is usually seen wearing red color dress, in the Panchatattva. So Nityananda, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is here, Nityananda Prabhu is here, Gadadhar is here. Nikate Advaita, now nearby on this side, Advaita Prabhu on the right, and Nikate Advaita. Nikate means nearby. Nikate. Nikatastha Mayatare Japatya Dhare. Krishna Bahirmukh Bhogavancha Kare Nikatastha Mayatare Japatya Dhare. That is another place where the word Nikata was used. So this sloka says Krishna Bahirmukha Bhogavancha Kare. So once we forget Krishna, the next thing is sense gratification. Krishna Bahirmukha. That means once you go outside of Krishna consciousness, the only thing left is Maya consciousness. There is no in between, sitting on the fence kind of thing. It is either Krishna or Maya. Even the so-called Mokshavadis, those who talk about moksha, there is also a Maya, because there is sense gratification involved. I want moksha. I want liberation. So there is also a kind of kama, moksha kami they are called. So as long as you are a kami, there is bhogavancha. That is Atmendra Pritivancha, Taranam Kam, Krishnendra Pritivancha, Dhare Premnam. Kama and Prem, the difference. Kama means lust. I want to enjoy. I want to enjoy liberation. I want to merge into the existence of the Lord. I want to become one with the Lord. I am the center of it. So as long as I am the center of it all, then that is Kama or Bhogavancha. So Krishna Bahirmukha Bhogavancha Kore. When this happens, when we desire something outside of Krishna, what is outside? This is sense gratification in its various forms. It can be the desire for liberation, it can be the desire for attaining mystic yogic perfection, it can be the desire to just enjoying this world like a hedonist, wine, women kind of enjoyment, or you want to enjoy in a contented way in this material world, not like the criminal, in unregulated, wine woman. I know I want to do religious ceremonies and go to pious, to go to heavenly planets. All this is considered Bhogavancha. Everything, all this included is Bhogavancha. So Krishna Bahirmukha Bhogavancha Kore. Nikatastha Mayatare Japatya Dhare. So Nikatastha. Nikatastha, stha means situated. Nearby, just beside Krishna, waiting to capture you, capture us. Who am I? So waiting to capture us is Maya. Nikatastha Mayatare Japatya Dhare. Immediately, the moment we turn our face away from Krishna, one tight slap Maya will give. That is Maya's business. As soon as we move our face away from Krishna, Maya will give one tight slap, Japatya Dhare. So, and strike us down, not just one tight slap, like that only. When there are some slapping competitions, just like there is boxing and all, there have been some slapping competitions, and I have seen somebody sent this video that they have a table like this, and this man they face each other and they slap hard. How hard they slap! So there was this world champion slapper. So what he used to do, he will so hard he will slap the person, and the person has to just stand and take the slap. He cannot defend himself. So they have to take the slap, and then they have to slap, and then again they have to take the slap. So each will get a turn to slap. So until one of them accepts defeat or gets knocked out on the floor, unconscious. So that's the game. I don't know what kind of game is that, but that's the game. So this person, he was champion slapper. One slap, that's it. The guy, big muscle guy, just went straight on the floor. On the floor. So Maya will kick us like that. Nikatastha Mayatare Japatya Dhare. Krishna Bahirmukha Bhogavancha Kare. So that is Nikata. So just remember that. So Dakhine Nitai Chand, Bame Gadadhar. Nitai Chand and Gadadhar. Nikate Advaita. Nikate. Advaita. Advaita Prabhu was just nearby. On this side. You will see Panchatattva, you see the order. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is like this, and then Nityananda Prabhu on his right side. Now also all raised arms. And on the left is Gadadhar Pandit and Shrivas on here, and Advaita Prabhu, Advaita Acharya was on this side. So the same picture here also. Nikate Advaita Srinivasa Chhatradhar. Here Srinivas or Shrivas He is called Srivas Pandit, but he is also called Srinivas, because actually the word has no difference. Srivas. Srivas means the abode of Shri. There is a belt here, that is the representation of Lakshmi, and the Lord has this belt here, golden belt, and that is so she is always on the chest of the Lord. So Shri Vasa. Vasa means abode or residence of Shri, of Lakshmi. So his chest is the abode of Lakshmi. That is the so the person whose chest is the abode of Lakshmi, he is called Srivas. That is Lord Narayana. So Srivas Pandit also has Narayana's name, Srivas. Shri Nivas. Nivas means one who resides. So the place where Shri Nivas, where she resides, means the same place. I mean same meaning. Srivas or Srinivas. So it's the same thing. So here it is mentioned as Srinivas, but he is known usually as Srivas Pandit. Srivas Angan. That his garden, his courtyard was where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started the whole Sankirtan. It was about 200 yards from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's place. So anyway, this is in Mayapur. So Dakhine Nitai Chand Bame Gadadhar. Gadadhar. This is also a Narayan's name, Lord Narayana's name. Gadadhar. We have, I think, already understood that yesterday. Gada means the mace, the club. Shankha Chakra Gada Padma, the four symbols held by Narayan. So Gada means the club. So Gadadhar, the one who holds the club, which is also Balaram's another name also, Gadadhar, because he also is an expert at Gada fighting with the mace, fighting with the club. And he taught Duryodhan also. Balaram taught Duryodhan how to fight with the mace. So Gadadhar also means Balaram, and Gadadhar also means Narayan. But here Gadadhar means it is the name, just like we all have names, but we don't necessarily, like we have Narahari Prabhu, which is Narasimha. These are all names. So just like that, here Gadadhar Pandit, he is given the name of Gadadhar, but he was not holding a Gada in the Chaitanya Leela pastime. It is not that he was holding a Gada. So he was given that name. He was named after Gadadhar, the Lord Gadadhar, but he is actually incarnation of Radharani, who was a school childhood friend of Nimai, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he is actually part of the Panchatattva. And Nikate Advaita Srinivasa Chhatradhar. Chhatra means umbrella. So Srinivas was holding an umbrella over the head of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chhatradhara. Dhara means holding. Chhatra means umbrella. So this is. So if you want to envision it, this is actually a nice picture. Somebody painted this. I thought it was not painted, but actually it is painted. So this is the Arati ceremony of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You can see here clearly all the devotees. You see how they are. So all the personalities mentioned in the song are there in this picture. So behind you can see is the Ganga river. This is the bank of the Ganga river. Here is a tree, and then Srinivas, he is holding the umbrella, and this is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I hope it is clear enough for you to see. I'll just make it a full screen. So there you can see. You see this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sitting on the throne, and here Nityananda Prabhu on his right, Gadadhar on his left, Srivas holding the umbrella, Advaita Prabhu here, Nikate Advaita Prabhu. This is the picture of the Gaurarati song. This picture is being described in the song. Now we will go back to the. So, coming back to the song lyrics. Oh Lord on Lord Chaitanya's right side is Lord Nityananda and on his left is Sri Gadadhar. Nearby stands Sri Advaita and Srivas Thakur, and Srivas Thakur is holding an umbrella over Lord Chaitanya's head. Now third, Bosiache Gorachand Ratna Simhasane. So Ratna Simhasan. Bosiache means he is seated. Who is seated? Gorachand, who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Another name, Gorachand. So, Ratna Simhasane, where is he seated? Not on the floor, nothing like that. Ratna Simhasane, in a jeweled seat, on a nicely decorated jeweled seat, and it's called Simhasan. Usually the kings, it's like a throne. Simhasan means a throne. He was seated on a jeweled throne. And he is seated, and what is going on? Arati Koren Brahma Adi Devagane. Brahma Adi means Brahma, followed by Brahma, beginning with Brahma, all the Devas, all the Devatas, they all are performing his Arati ceremony. Of course, here, if you see the picture, a few personalities are depicted on the scene, but you can imagine Brahma Adi Devagana means 330 million demigods. All of them, 33 crores, all of them were there. All the devatas, everybody, it was like a tumultuous Arati ceremony. When Lord is worshipped, He is not worshipped like alone. Although we worship, now we are locked down, we are all worshipping alone the Lord. But actually, wherever the Lord is glorified, all the devatas also assemble there and they witness the glorification of the Lord. So here, as Bhaktivinoda Thakur is envisioning, all the devatas headed by Brahma Adi Devagane, all the devatas were attending and they were performing this huge Arati ceremony and huge Kirtan going on in honor of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That means Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not just an ordinary person in this world, although he came like that, Bhakta Rupa. Although he came as a Bhakta Rupa, but he is not an ordinary Bhakta, he is Krishna himself. So even the demigods are singing his Arati song and they are doing Arati for him. And Brahma was personally doing the Arati with 4 heads. That's why you see the picture. Just now, I don't know if you have noticed, there was Brahma also. After this song, we will again look at the picture, and then reconcile all those details. So, Ratna Simhasana, he was seated on a jeweled throne, very, very gorgeous throne actually. Then Arati Koren Brahma Adi Devagane. Lord Chaitanya has sat down on a jeweled throne and the demigods headed by Lord Brahma perform the Arati ceremony. Narahari Adi Kori Chamara Dhulai Sanjaya Mukunda Vasu Ghosha Adi Gai. So in the third one, I don't know whether we just sang, but we'll just sing again. Bosi ache gora chand ratna simhasane arati korena brahma adi devagane. Then next, Nara Hari Adi Kori Chamara Dhulaya Sanjaya Mukunda Vasu Ghosha Digaya. So Basu or Vasu is the same, again Bengali pronunciation. So Narahari Adi. Narahari was a devotee, Narahari Sarkar. He wrote very important books like Bhakti Ratnakar. He also wrote Krishna Bhajanamrit and some other books like that. So in that there are a lot of details about the biographies of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's associates. So he is one of the gopis in the Vrindavan actually, who came down as Narahari Sarkar. So Narahari Adi Kori Chamara Dhulai. Chamara, the chamara, the white fan in the Arati ceremony. So he was, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is seated, he and others, they are waving the chamara fan, fanning the Lord. Not only he is the chief of all of them. Beginning with Narahari, there are a few. When we say few, it is like many. When it's just like Brahma Adi Devagane. It's like a few demigods. There's like a picture also shows a few. No, it's just like the whole universe was involved. The whole universal, the lords, I mean, demigods all were involved. So Narahari Sarkar, he was, fanning. Sanjaya Mukunda Vasu Ghosha Gaya. Sanjaya Mukunda and Basudev Ghosh. Actually, his full name is Vasudev Ghosh. Here is mentioned Basu Ghosh, Ghosh Adi. So they are actually very great singers, very very sweetly they sing. So in fact, in the Rath Yatra ceremony of the Lord in Chaitanya and Jagannath Puri, so every time the Bengali devotees come from Bengal to Jagannath Puri and they meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and they participate in the Rath Yatra festival. So when that happens, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu organizes 7 different kirtan parties. And each of these kirtan parties is led by a singer. So this Vasudev Ghosh and Mukunda and Sanjaya, they are very great singers and they used to lead 3 of such parties. So here Ghosha Adi, when they say Adi means etc. Beginning with Ghosha, beginning with Sanjaya, Mukunda and Vasudev Ghosh, other devotees, all of them are singing. Gaya means singing. Chamara Dhulai means fanning. So it is rhyming, you see. So Narahari Adi Kori Chamara Dhulai Sanjaya Mukunda Basu Ghosha Adi Gai. So Sanjaya Mukunda Basu Ghosh Adi Gai. They were singing the glories of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with nice sweet melodies. So here, we will read the translation. Narahari Sarkar and other associates of Lord Chaitanya fan him with chamaras, and devotees headed by Sanjay Pandit, Mukunda Datta and Vasu Ghosh sing sweet kirtan. Actually, if you want, you can actually go and read up. There is this, I think there is a website called Gaudiya History something. So all these associates names that are given here, you can read about their life. And then you will know who exactly they are. But at least you can get an idea now, like what is going on in the song. Then next, Shankha Bhaje, Ghanta Bhaje. Oh, that is the refrain. I am singing the refrain. So, Shankha Bhaje, Ghanta Bhaje, Bhaje Kartala, Madhura Mridanga Bhaje, Paramarasala. So, Shankha Bhaje, Ghanta Bhaje, Bhaje Kartal, Madhura Mridanga Bhaje, Paramarasal. So, very nice. So, how this kirtan is going on? Shankha Bhaje, the conch shells. Shankha means conch shell. Bhaje means it's being blown. The conch shell is being blown. Not one conch shell. Many conch shells. Actually, if you see the Rath Yatra, we do the Aarti. So 3 conch shells blow at the same time. So the sound is very nice to hear, you see, when 3 conch shells. Imagine like hundreds of conch shells. There are 330 million demigods. Just imagine how many hundreds and thousands of conch shells are blown at once. So kirtan was going on, not just like one person singing Hare Krishna like that. Big kirtan, Of course, it doesn't matter whether one person sings or a million people sing. But the more the merrier. Kirtan is like that. The more the people are there, the more ecstatic it becomes. Kirtan is like that. So, Shankha Bhaje, Ghanta Bhaje. So, Ghanta means the bell. So, ting, 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 so many bells. Conch shells, bells. Shankha Bhaje, Ghanta Bhaje, Bhaje Kartal. Kartal, the Kartal. So, Kartal all playing, And Madhura Mridanga Bhaje, Paramarasal. Madhura means very sweet. Mridanga. The Mridanga is being played. And not just one, so many Mridangas. And all in unison. And they were playing very nicely, very sweet sounds with the Mridanga. Big kirtan, just imagine a huge kirtan was going on. So then the Mridangas play very sweetly. This kirtan music is supremely sweet and relishable to hear. Rasala means so relishable to hear such kirtan. That kind of nice, beautiful kirtan was going on. And then a refrain. So refrain is we repeat this word. So just like again, like the child, when you're in ecstasy of something, then you repeat that again and again. It actually happens whenever we want to say something. If we are excited about it, then we repeat it. So this refrain is like that. So after the verse is actually, this is not exactly part of the song, but it's a refrain that devotees usually sing because they want to relish that moment, that shankha baje, ghanta baje, madhur 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 baje. So madhur 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 baje, madhur 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 baje, shankha baje, ghanta baje, madhur 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 baje. So they are recollecting again that scene, that shankha baje, ghanta baje, and madhur 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 baje. So sweet, it is like you see the translation, conch shells resound, bell resound, the bells resound, and sweetness and sweetness resounds. So this is how the remembrance of that line again and again. In fact, there is another refrain also. Madhura mridanga baje, madhur 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 baje, madhura mridanga baje, madhur 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 baje, shankha baje, ghanta baje, madhur 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 baje. So in this way, just relishing that scene again and again. So then so even here also when we sing the kirtan, we sing this, and then jump, and then it becomes faster. The kirtan becomes faster, and then Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Then we do that. So then comes back to Bahu Koti Chandra Jini Vadana Ujvala. Here it is said, you see now. Bahu Koti Chandra Jini Vadana Ujval. Gala Deshe Banamala Kore Jhalamal. So Bahu Koti Chandra Jini Vadana Ujval Gala Deshe Vanamala Kore Jhalamal. So Bahu Koti means 10 million, 1 crore in Indian. So it is equal to 10 million. Bahu Koti means many millions of moons when they shine. Ujvala means the shine, the light of millions of moons. Jini means of whose, the effulgence of whose Vadana, the face of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Vadan means face. So the person whose face has the effulgence of many millions and millions of moons, he is garlanded with a forest flower, garland made of forest flowers. So Bahu Koti Chandra Jini means whose, Vadana, Jini Vadana means whose face carries the effulgence of many millions of moons. That means referring to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He, on his neck, Gala Desha, Gala means on the neck, Desha means in the area. So on the neck, Banamala, Bana means, again this is Bengali, Bana, actually it is Vana, Vana means forest. Banamala means forest garland, that means garland made of beautiful forest flowers, colorful forest flowers, like Vaijayanti Mala, like that. Gala Deshe Vanamala Kore Jhalamal. Jhalamal means it is swinging to and fro, because it is, the brilliance of Lord Chaitanya's face conquers millions upon millions of moons, and the garland of forest flowers around his neck shines. Jhalamal means shines. So it is shining. So the Jhalamal means the garland is shining like anything. So in this way the picture is depicted. Now, next. Shiva Shuka Narada Preme Gada Gada Bhakti Vinoda Dekhe Gorara Sampada. Shiva Shuka Narada Preme Gada Gada. Shiva Shuka Narada Preme Gada Gada Bhakti Vinoda Dekhe Gorara Sampada. So Shiva Shuka Narada Preme Gada Gada. So, personalities such as Lord Shiva, Shuka means Shukadeva Goswami. Shukadeva Goswami also was there. See? Shiva, Shuka, Narada. Narad Muni also was there. And Preme Gada Gada. Their throats became choked. Shiva, Shuka, Narada, Preme Gada Gada. Because of the ecstatic scene, the ecstasy in the of love, in the love for Sri Chaitanya Mahapreme. Prema means in the love for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Their throats choked up with feeling. They could not sing. Shiva, Shuka, Narada, Preme Gada Gada, Bhakti Vinoda Dekhe Gorara Sampada. So Bhakti Vinod Thakur, he's writing the song, so he put his name there. So in this way, Bhakti Vinod is seeing, dekhe. This is not imagining, dekhe. So he's actually seeing. What is seeing? Gorar Sampada. The wealth, the opulence of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. How grand he is, how grandly he is worshipped by all the great demigods and all the great sages. Everybody was worshipping him. So in this way he saw the opulent Arati ceremony that was performed for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So you can see the translation. Lord Shiva, Shukadeva Goswami and Narad Muni are all there, and their voices are choked with the ecstasy of transcendental love. Thus Thakur Bhaktivinoda envisions the glory of Lord Sri Chaitanya. So this is the Gaur Arati song. So this is what we are singing every time. So we will look at the picture again. So I will do full screen again. You can see, I hope. What is showing here? I think the words are showing, is it? Yes, I hope you can see the picture now. Please let me know in the comments if you can see this picture of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Arati. Let me see the comments. Yeah, I think now you can see. So we will go back to the picture. So you see all the details of the song. So Jai Jai Gora Chandra Arati Ko Shobha Jannavi Tatavane Jagamana Lobha. So it is being performed on the banks of the Ganga river. Of course, it is not possible to draw all the 330 million demigods. The principal names that are mentioned in this song, they are depicted in this painting, beautiful painting. And you see, Dakhine Nitai Chand, Bame Gadadhar, Nikate Advaita, Srinivas Chhatradhar. He is holding the umbrella. Then Bosi Ache Gora Chand, Ratna Simhasane, he is seated on the jewel throne. Arati Koren Brahma, Adi Devagana. You see Brahma here. Here Lord Brahma with 4 heads, he is doing the Arati with the lamp, you see. You can see this lamp. Maybe I don't know if I can zoom in. It will become slow. Anyway, I'll just leave it there. So you see Brahma is offering the lamp, Arati. Brahma Adi Devagana. Then Narahari. This is Narahari. He is having this chamara. Actually, it is Narahari, Adi Kori, Chamara Dhulai. Narahari, Adi. So, beginning with Narahara, many people are, but here you see only Narahari. So, because that name is mentioned. Because it is not, we can never really depict the pastimes of the Lord, it is so infinite. So, Narahari, Adi Kori, Chamara Dhulai, Sanjaya Mukunda Vasu Ghosha Adigai. So, here you can see Sanjaya Mukunda. Where Vasudev Ghosh, here. So here in the saffron here, and this white and white. This is Kartal. This is the singers, So these devotees are singing. Sanjaya Mukunda Vasu Ghosha Adigai. Then Shankha Bhaje, Ghanta Bhaje, Bhaje Kartal. So here there is Shankha. There is Shankha here. Conch shell is being blown just beside the Lord Brahma there. You know. So Shankha Bhaje, Ghanta Bhaje. Who's playing the Ghanta? Anyway, here Brahma is playing the Ghanta also. As he is doing the Arati, he is also playing the bell. But actually many bells were there. You know, many bells. Shankha Bhaje, Ghanta Bhaje, Bhaje Kartal. You know, this person here, this devotee here was playing Kartal. Madhura Mridanga Bhaje, Paramarasal. Here Mridanga is going on. You know, on the left. So then Bahukoti Chandrajini Vadana Ujjwal. You know, his face is like the brilliant radiance of millions of moons. And Galadeshe Vanamala Korej Halamal. It is shining, this garland of forest flowers. And Shiva Shuka Narada Preme Gada Gada. You know, Shiva, Lord Shiva is here. Shukadeva Goswami is here. Shuka and Narada. All three are here. Shiva Shuka Narada Preme Gada Gada. Bhakti Vinoda Dekhe Gorara Sampada. So in this way, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is seeing the Arati ceremony of the Lord. So this is the song. So next time, you know what you're singing. This is the whole point of this series, so that we know what we're doing at least. So I think a couple more topics or a few more topics I'm thinking in this series, and then we will switch to, I think, Nectar of Instruction, which is another very important thing for all devotees. So any questions or comments on this song or any inputs? So today is quite a short session comparatively. We still have crossed the 1 hour mark. So let's see the comments now. If you have any questions. So Vimal Krishna Prabhu is asking question. Hare Krishna Prabhu, one gets elevated by knowing the subject or by sincerely trying to know? Good question. Wait, I'll just put myself back. So one gets elevated by knowing the subject or sincerely trying to know. So the only thing is, we can never be enough to serve the Lord or to know the Lord. It's like Srila Prabhupada, gave a very nice lecture in which he was crying as he was saying that he was explaining the Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam, and he was shedding tears, and his voice actually choked up. And I think many of you devotees have heard that audio. I don't know if you have. It was a very touching moment. So Srila Prabhupada was explaining very nicely that bhava is important. Basically, the mood of devotion to the Lord. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati tadaham bhakti upahritam ashnami prayatatmana. What can we give the Lord? We cannot give anything. So Prabhupada said that feeling, that devotional feeling with which we have to come to the Lord and say, my Lord, I don't have anything, I am a poor beggar, but I have come to offer you something. I hope you will please accept this humble offering. I have nothing to offer you. What can I offer you? You have given me everything. Even I myself am yours. What can I give you? So, but with that humility, when we go and offer with that feeling, so Prabhupada said Krishna accepts that feeling. So what can we adequately offer Krishna, and what can we adequately know about Krishna? Of course, Krishna says, Janma karma chame divyam evam yovetti tatvatah tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti sorjuna. If you go to the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, text 9, he says that if once you know about me, then there is no more rebirth. So you see here, this is chapter 4, text 9 of Bhagavad Gita. Janma karma chame divyam evam yo vetti tatvatah tyaktva deham punarjanmana iti mameti sorjuna. Oh Krishna. Where are we? Sorry. This is stuck again. We always get into this problem here. Kindly bear with me. Whenever I use this, I mean, I can just say audibly, but I just wanted to show the verse as well. So there you go. 4.9. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not upon leaving this body take his birth again in this material world, but attains to my eternal abode, O Arjuna. So when we know about Krishna, we will get elevated. But we can never completely know about Krishna. It is said that even, Lord Brahma said in the 14th chapter of the 10th canto, learned persons may say that I know you. And let them be satisfied like that. But as far as I am concerned, with my four heads I am telling that I know absolutely nothing about you. Absolutely nothing about you. So I think this is in the 14th chapter, or was it in Dwarka? So Lord Brahma, he said like this to Krishna, that with my four heads I am telling you I cannot understand you. So we have to understand as much as is revealed by Krishna. That much we can understand, yes. So some people say that, oh, God cannot be understood, and therefore they make no attempt to understand Him also. So that is actually coming out of laziness, or it is coming out of ignorance of how to understand the Lord. Yes, it is impossible. He is called Adhokshaja. He cannot be understood with our material senses and intelligence and mind and all our senses. But if He Himself reveals, then we can understand Him. As much as He has revealed, we can understand Him. So Krishna has revealed Himself in the Bhagavad Gita, in the Bhagavatam, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, everything. So we have to understand as much as He has revealed Himself. That we must do. When Krishna is speaking about Himself and revealing about Himself, or His devotees are speaking about Him, if we don't know about Him, just like anything, like ordinarily speaking, if we like someone, we always want to know what they are doing. What is his Facebook status update? What is my status? What am I doing? And all your followers will come to know, right? So when YouTuber, they upload a YouTube video, and everybody, all the fans, all the subscribers, they watch. Because when you are interested in a person, then you want to know what they do, what are they up to, what are they doing. So when one is interested in Krishna, one is interested to know about his pastimes. In the beginning, it is a hunger for knowledge, like you want to know more, you are inquisitive. But as one matures and as a devotee, he just likes to read about Krishna because it's just so pleasurable. Even he has heard it many times, he will still hear it. Harit Karna Rasayana Katha is very pleasurable to the ear and the heart. In the beginning, it's about knowledge. I want to know more. Okay, what happened? That actually moves your. In the beginning, devotees, they read books. They want to know more because they never heard it before. Something which they have never heard it, so they read with enthusiasm. But what sometimes some devotees fail to understand, that once they read all the books, then they think like, okay, I kind of know, I have read all. So they might not read a second time, because they kind of, if this is with improper understanding of devotional life, then they will think that, okay, it is enough, I have, not it is enough, I know what is there, I get an idea of what is there, so there's nothing new to, they always want to search out newer and newer books. Some Radha Krishna, some devotees will go into this Radha Krishna bhava and all this higher aspects of devotional life, which are not to be imitated at the current moment. So, but if we just read, just like it is said, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to hear, with his devotees, he used to make them narrate, and he used to listen to the pastimes of Dhruva Maharaj and Prahlad Maharaj hundreds of times. Same Dhruva Maharaj pastime hundreds of times, and Prahlad Maharaj pastime hundreds of times, Ambarish Maharaj pastimes hundreds of times. So like this they used to hear and relish. There is so much to relish actually. If you dig deep and deep and deep, one can never um, fail to get gold out of this. So the more and more we read the Prabhupada's books, the more and more becomes more pleasurable. You know, um, like when one has in the beginning, it is like, okay, what Krishna did in his life, I want to read in that mode. But once you have read it, one becomes more devotee. Then devotee reads again Krishna's book. Let me hear about again that heroic activities that Krishna did. Wow, this was very nice and very meaningful thing he did. Again, they want to read. So it is not about like I want to know more. You have already read it, but you want to relish that again. So that is the next step. So in that way, and then one has to get more involved in this whole reading in that way. Trying to have complete invest one intelligence and full absorption in that reading, and that reading will actually, that intense absorption in Krishna is what counts. Whether it is chanting, whether it is hearing, whether it is serving, in everything we have to have intense absorption in Krishna. So that is what counts. We can never adequately serve him, but just our feeling of eagerness to serve him, that's what matters. Kunti Mataji is asking, is it compulsory to sing Gaurarati song in the evening for initiated devotees at temple and at home? So, especially if you go to Vrindavan every day. Here when we have the program, usually the devotees are either doing something or they are engaged in service or they went out somewhere. So when there are devotees, they should always come and sing. If they are not engaged in any other service, they should always come and sing. But when we have this program, actually Prabhupada wanted all devotees to come morning and evening and have Gaurarati, and of course Mangalarati is a standard. So Gaurarati also every day, and all the devotees come. So of course when they are doing other services, when they are outside, when they are distributing books or like that, then they cannot be there. And those who are in the temple, they are engaged in some other service, as long as they are engaged in service. But if you are doing something else, then better not. Everybody must come and do the arati. So if nobody is there also, the pujari, he sings the arati song and he does. So when there are more devotees, we can always have this all the time. So when there are devotees, we should always have it. And then it is ideal to always have it. That is the actual. In fact, usually even Tulsi Arati is done in the evening. When I first came to the temple, on Sundays at least, there was Tulsi Arati in the evening, followed by when the curtain is closed, when the offering time, that time the Tulsi Arati used to go on, and then after that Gaur Arati. But after that, no, we just do the Hare Krishna bhajan here. Only the morning we worship Tulsi Maharani. So like that. The ideal scene is every day we can have Gaur Arati. But if we are engaged in some service, and especially when temples are small, then everybody is just involved in many other things. So then we get. But we can still sing. Wherever we are, we can still sing and still meditate on the Lord. So that is also okay. Even if we are outside, if we can any gap of time, we can always sing that song, and that way remember. So that was good. So even when one is traveling, Mangalarti and all, how to do. Suppose I am in the plane at Mangalarti time, what to do? I cannot have an arati, nothing. I am not in a hotel also. I cannot even do that little bit puja also. Just sing the thing in your mind, the songs, and then meditate on the Lord like that. So that's the way we can do. So next, what is the... So Raviranjan Prabhu is asking, nowadays we are doing Gaurarati in the evening at home, Prabhu. Do we need to follow any specific way to do the same? It is usually the full Arati. If you can do the full Arati, that's the best. Dhupa, which is incense, and Deepa, which is the lamp, and then there is water, Arghya, and then there is the Vastra, the cloth, and then the Pushpa, the flowers, Chamra, and the peacock for the fan. And in that way one can do that. If one does not have all the paraphernalia, then we can do at least the Tulsi Arati, just dhoop, deep and flower. And if one has chamra, one can do chamra. So in that way, but as much as possible, all the ingredients, and sing the song, and that's it. So you can follow that anywhere. Vishwambar Prabhu has put an interesting thing here. So here it is said here that many people confuse the author of Bhakti Ratnakar, Narahari Chakravarti, with Narahari Sarkar Thakur. So I also thought the same. Narahari Sarkar. So the former, who is also known as Ghanishyam Das, is a different person who was born in the district of Mushirabad. His father's name was Jagannath Chakravarti, and he was a disciple of Vishwanath Chakravarti. So there are two personalities, Narahari Chakravarti and Narahari Sarkar. So Narahari Sarkar wrote the Bhakti Ratnakar, and Krishna Bhajanamrit by Narahari Chakravarti or Sarkar. Now I am confused. So anyway, so all of these are associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Narottam Das Thakur has sung that Gaurangera Sangi Gane Nitya Siddha Kurimane. So all the associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are Nitya Siddha. They are all eternal associates of the Lord. That means they are always in Golok Vrindavan. And they come here to enact pastimes. When the Lord comes, all of these, there are innumerable associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So all of them are involved in serving him. Then what else? I think that's it. Okay, there are some scriptural references to the advent of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You can read that from the comments on this Facebook post. Then somebody has shared one video link of the kids singing the Gaurarati song in the comments. So maybe you can watch that. So in this way, we understand the Gaurarati song. So without any further questions, so we will end here. Jai Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki, Sri Panchatattva ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai, Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.